When Kevin was a boy, he was the biggest child in his village, not just in size, but in how often he was laughed at. People didn't see the kindness in his heart or the dreams in his eyes. They only saw his body, big, round, heavy. The village children called him names. Some adults even chuckled behind his back. At school, Kevin's days were filled with stares and whispers. He walked into classrooms and the giggles would begin. When he tried to play football, the boys would shout, "The ball will disappear under his belly." And the girls? They looked away. Some acted like he didn't even exist. Others simply said, "You're not my type." Kevin heard it all. He felt the pain. But he never shouted back. He never fought anyone. He kept silent. Instead, he told himself quietly, "One day they'll see me. One day I'll be someone." At night, when the village slept, Kevin would open old books. He studied business ideas from torn magazines. He watched videos on a borrowed phone about success stories and how to start a company. No one saw this side of him. To everyone, he was just the fat boy with no future. By the time he finished high school, nothing much had changed. The bullying had worn him down, but it had also made him stronger inside. He didn't cry anymore. He was just silent, quiet but planning. Kevin left the village with no money. His parents had barely enough to feed themselves. He moved to the city and found a small job cleaning a cyber cafe. He worked all day, then spent his evenings learning computer skills from customers who visited. One of the young men who came daily noticed Kevin's interest and started teaching him for free. Kevin learned fast. Soon he was building websites. He saved every coin he earned. He stopped eating fast food, walked everywhere instead of taking taxis, and slowly started losing weight. Years passed. Kevin opened his first business at the age of 24, a small company helping people sell their goods online. It wasn't easy, but he never gave up. He worked late into the nights. He talked less and listened more. Every time someone doubted him, he worked harder. At 27, he launched a bigger company, an online shopping platform. It grew fast. People across the country were using it. In just 3 years, Kevin was named one of the richest young entrepreneurs in the country. His face was on magazine covers. He was invited to speak at big events. But what shocked people the most wasn't just his money, it was his appearance. Kevin was no longer the boy people mocked. He had lost over 50 kilograms. His skin was clear. His clothes were sharp. His smile was confident. People who hadn't seen him in years didn't even recognize him. Then came the day of the school reunion. It had been 10 years since he left the village school. They were holding a celebration for old students, and Kevin was invited. Some thought he wouldn't come. Others joked, "Why would he show up after all we did to him?" But he came. He drove into the school compound in a black luxury car. The guards saluted him, unsure if he was a politician or a celebrity. The teachers who once ignored him came running to greet him. "Is this really Kevin?" one asked, shocked. The students, now grown men and women, were speechless. The same girls who never said a word to him back then now couldn't stop looking. One of them, Jane, who had once called him a walking balloon, walked up to him and said, "Wow, Kevin, you look amazing. I always knew you'd make it." Kevin smiled kindly. "Thank you," he said. But he remembered everything. During the reunion, Kevin was asked to give a short speech. He stood up, tall and confident. The crowd went quiet. "I want to thank this school," he said. "This is where I learned that pain can build strength. I was laughed at, yes, but I never let the laughter stop me. I worked hard, not to prove you wrong, but to prove to myself that I could rise." Everyone clapped. Some looked down, ashamed. Others nodded in respect. After the party, many of the girls tried to talk to him. Some asked for photos. Others slipped their numbers into his hand. But Kevin had changed. He smiled politely, thanked them, but kept his distance. He was no longer the lonely boy begging for attention. He had found peace in who he had become. Today, Kevin runs several businesses. He employs hundreds of people. He supports children's education in villages like the one he grew up in. But he never forgets his past. Sometimes he visits his old school quietly and helps struggling students. He never mentions the pain he went through. He just tells them, "Work hard. Believe in yourself. Even if the world laughs, keep going." Because Kevin knows what it means to be laughed at, and he knows how it feels when that laughter finally turns to applause.